Good morning. I pray that your Thursday was filled with spaces and places of joy, of peace, of happiness. I am just leaving the pool, and you can't take pictures inside, but this is the outside of the pool. And today I want to talk to you a little bit about, have you noticed? Have you noticed? Have you noticed that, well, at least it seems to me, that more and more people are leaving this planet, and it's not necessarily seniors. There are people who are in their 30s and 40s who, and I'm not talking necessarily about police violence, but people who are leaving the planet. And I want it just made me stop and pause. I was talking to my son this morning because I saw his post, my oldest son, and a guy who had worked with him, he just found out had died. And this guy, he told me, was 48 years old. And 48 is young. 48 is definitely young. When I was 48, I had an 8-year-old daughter, okay? 48 is young. And one of the things I began to think about, and I was just processing with my son, is I wonder if this is another part of the residual effects of the pandemic. And when I say residual effects, it's because 2 years ago when we went into lockdown, people really did not know how to manage it. People's stress levels shot up, their anxiety levels shot up. People began to drink more, people began to smoke more, people began to do many things to try to deal with the anxiety of having their life abruptly disrupted. And physical abuse went up even more. Couples who had been trying to make it made the decision over these 2 years. So many couples, you know what? I have spent time isolating with you, and I've really gotten to really pay attention and realize that this is not for me. But I'm wondering, even as we appear to possibly be opening back up again, if some of those things, some of the ways that we managed our stress during this is 2 years of the pandemic, is now, like Malcolm X would say, the chicken's coming home to roost. You know, I don't know anybody, I know very few people who have not gained weight, myself included. And you know, my chickens are coming home to roost because I really believe that some of the issues with my hips and my joints is because I have extra weight. So this message is not to fuss at you. This message is not to make you feel bad. This message is to really to ask you to stop and pause and to consider, to wonder, what will be the residual effects? And I know people who've gotten COVID. I know people who have long-term effects from COVID. But for those of us who have not necessarily been affected or had COVID themselves, I still wonder if our chickens are coming home from roost. So some of the things that being more sedentary, or some of the ways that our lives have changed, now that we're getting out a little bit more, we're beginning to feel it in a different way. So I want to encourage you. I want to encourage you that wherever you are, if you have gained weight like I have, I actually gained about 15 pounds. If you've gained weight, if you have found yourself drinking a little bit more, polishing off a bottle or two at night, if you found yourself smoking more weed, if you found yourself eating more edibles, if you found yourself doing some other potentially destructive behaviors, if you do them in excess, I want to invite you to consider, okay, let me just take an assessment. Let me pause and wonder, how has my life changed? How has the way I've taken care of myself changed in the last 2 years? And if you're still doing great, my hat's off to you. But if you look down at yourself and say, you know what? These 2 years have cost me something. These 2 years have kind of wreaked havoc on my life. If in these 2 years your relationship has ended, in these 2 years your anxiety has gone up and you're now on medication, I applaud you for doing something about it, and just begin to wonder, what can I do to turn the corner? What can I do to get back to a quality of life, or get to achieve a quality of life that is healthier for me, achieve a quality of life that emotionally puts me at peace the majority of the time? How can I get back to the place? It's not going to be where you used to be, but how can I now forge a different path, a healthier path? How can I now forge a path of maybe your relationship has broken up and you're trying to figure out, what am I going to do without that person? How am I going to single parent? I don't want to get back into this dating game. I would encourage you, instead of looking at the negatives, to begin to think about the positives, to begin to think about new opportunities, to begin to think about the joy, to begin to think about the surprises that may come, to begin to think about all that is waiting for you. You know, we all don't know how much time we have on this planet. And so rather than spending it being miserable and being negative, how about let's just begin to wonder how each day I can do one thing that brings joy to me. Each day I can do something that puts a smile on my face. Each day I can do something that gets me in a place where me and my body are not at such odds with each other. Enjoy your weekend. The weather here today is absolutely beautiful. Try to find ways to smile. Love you all, and I pray that you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.